Assalamualaikum dear students, my name is Basim Ahmed and I am teaching you physics for grade 9. The topic for today's discussion is unit number 4, turning effect of forces. In this discussion, we would be dealing with the following topics: like and unlike parallel forces, addition of forces, and resolution of forces. So dear students, let's first define like and unlike parallel forces. How to define like parallel forces? Definition is clear from this pink box. Like parallel forces are the forces that are parallel to each other and have the same direction. You can see in figure A that these forces are directing in the same direction and these are parallel. That's why these are called like parallel forces. Another example is, for example, you put some apples in some container, then the weight, which is the pull of earth towards its center, you see these black arrows which actually represent the weight of each apple. These are directing downwards, and these are like parallel because these are parallel and in the same direction. Similarly, how to define unlike parallel forces? Again, the definition is given. Unlike parallel forces are the forces that are parallel but have direction opposite to each other. So you can see in figure B that these forces are parallel but direction is different. Means some arrows are directing downward and some arrows are directing upward. So this system makes a unlike parallel forces. The another concrete example is, if you attach something from a rope is attached to a certain spot, then you clearly see that weight is acting downward and tension, which is the reaction of the weight along the string, is acting upward. So this makes a unlike parallel force system. Dear students, this slide exemplifies different situations of like parallel and unlike parallel forces. So can you differentiate which system is like parallel and which is unlike parallel? So you can see one at left top corner. Here F1 and F2 are directing in the same direction. So this makes like parallel. Similarly, a table is being pulled towards right with force F1, F2. You can see on the left hand of this image. These two forces F1 and F2 are directing in the same direction and these are parallel. So again, it's a like parallel. So these are just analogies. Similarly, at the left bottom, you see that M1 and M2 are having some vector direction, in the same direction, rightward, and these are parallel. Okay. Similarly, at the middle of the slide, you see some two objects are being attached and the rope is passing over a pulley. So you see the weight is acting downward and tension is acting upward in both two ends of this string. So this makes a unlike parallel force. Similarly, on right hand top, you see F1 is acting upward and F2 is acting downward. So again, it's a unlike parallel. Similarly, at the middle of the right hand of this image, you see weight is acting downward and its reaction normal force is acting upward. A book is placed on a table. So again, these two are parallel and in opposite direction. So unlike parallel forces. Similarly, you can see at the right bottom, F1 and F2 are being pulled in opposite direction. These two forces are acting in opposite direction. So it's they are you can say same and in opposite direction. So it makes a unlike parallel forces. So these analogies make you clear about like parallel and unlike parallel forces. Now come to another topic, which is addition of forces. Force is a vector quantity. It has both magnitude and direction. Therefore, forces are not added by ordinary arithmetical rules. When forces are added, we get resultant force. So dear students, forces are vectors, and the arithmetic mean addition and taking difference of forces or vectors is somehow different from adding or subtracting scalars. So how to define resultant force? A resultant force is given, definition is given in the pink box. A resultant force is a single force that has the same effect as the combined effect of all the forces to be added. So this would be illustrated in the following slide. So the rule which deals with addition of vectors is head to tail rule. What is it? One of the methods for addition of forces is a graphical method. In this method, forces can be added by head to tail rule of vector addition. So dear students, you see two vectors, A, which is directing rightward, and another vector B, which is tilted, it directs towards northwest. So we have to add them. Okay, how to add them? So statement is given here. Take any one of the vectors as first vector, for example vector A. Then draw next vector B such that its tail coincides with the head of the first vector A. Similarly, draw the next vector for the third force, if any, but in this case there are two forces A and B. So we get a resultant vector. So dear students, you see here I have drawn a vector A, mean the direction and the magnitude of vector A, and all the vectors to be added are intact. So from the head of first vector, B is drawn. Again, the direction and magnitude remains same. So how to get the resultant vector? By joining the tail of first to the head of last, as shown by the red arrow. So this is how to get a resultant of vector by head to tail rule. Dear students, here you see three vectors f1, f2 and f3, which are to be added by head to tail rule. So you see f1 is directing towards eastward, f2 is directing towards northeast, and f3 is toward north. So let's add them. So here you just saw what is head to tail rule and how to get the resultant by using head to tail rule. So in this picture you see f1 is plotting, and f2 is attached to the head of the f1. Similarly, in next figure you see f3 is drawn from the head of the f2. So we have attached all these three vectors by head to tail rule. We have drawn f1, from the head of f1 we have drawn f2, and from the head of f2 we have drawn f3. Okay, then how to get resultant vector? By joining the tail of first, that is f1, to the head of last, f3. So this red arrow shows the resultant. So you can see in previous slide we have added two vectors, and here we have added three vectors. The method is same. So whatever the number of vectors or forces are given, you can add them by this simple head to tail rule. Now come to the another topic, which is the resolution of forces. How to define it? Splitting up our force into two mutually perpendicular components is called the resolution of that force. So you see here in this Cartesian coordinate system that F is plotted in first quadrant by pink arrow, and it is making some angle theta with the positive x-axis. So we have to resolve this force F vector. So consider force F represented by line OA, you see here, by making an angle theta with x-axis as shown in figure. So let's resolve it into its components in the following slide. So you see the components are perpendicular to each other. So here you have seen in this figure that F is broken down, split it into two perpendicular or mutually perpendicular components. Fx, which is the horizontal component of this force F, and it is drawn along the positive x-axis, and Fy, which is plotted along the y-axis, parallel to y-axis, and it is called vertical components. So this pink arrow F is split into two mutually perpendicular components, which are called rectangular components, Fx and Fy. So here the components are perpendicular to each other. They are called perpendicular components of this vector represented by this force F. Hence, represents its x component, mean horizontal, and y component Fy, which is the vertical component. So we can see that F equals Fx plus Fy. So we have resolved force F into its two mutually perpendicular components, rectangular components Fx and Fy. As we have introduced these two components, so let's find their values. Fx is termed as horizontal component and Fy is vertical component. So the magnitudes of Fx and Fy of the forces Fx and Fy can be found using the trigonometric ratios in right angle triangle. So you see, this makes a right triangle, and here cos theta equals base over hypotenuse, mean Fx over F, and from this mathematical form we can get Fx, which is the horizontal component, equal Fx equal F cos theta. So dear students, you have seen that we have found horizontal component. Similarly, by using trigonometric ratio sine, so sine theta is equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse, mean sine theta equals Fy over F, and from this equation we can write Fy equal, taking this F to other side, so Fy equal F sine theta. So Fx equal F cos theta, horizontal component of the force, and Fy equal F sine theta is the vertical component of the force. So equations above give the perpendicular components Fx and Fy respectively. Now, how to determine a force from its perpendicular components? Mean, as force is a vector, so it gets some magnitude and direction. So let's find magnitude and direction of force, which is just split it into its constituent components, mean rectangular components Fx and Fy. So here completely represent the force F, whose x and y components are Fx and Fy respectively, that is F equal Fx plus Fy. So the magnitude of the force F can be determined using right angle triangle. So by Pythagoras theorem, you can see, as it's a right triangle, so hypotenuse square equal base square plus perpendicular, mean Fy square. So we can write F square equal Fx square plus Fy square, and just taking square root we get F equal square root of Fx square plus Fy square. So this expression gives you the magnitude. And now let's find the direction. The direction of force F with x-axis is given by tangent. Again, you know, just like cos, sine, tan is again a trigonometric ratio. And what is it? Tan is obtained by this right triangle as ratio of perpendicular to base. That's why tan theta equal Fy by Fx, and just shifting this tan as it's a function to right side, so it becomes tan inverse. So this theta equal tan inverse Fy by Fx. So this gives you direction. So in this slide we have found the magnitude as well as direction of this force, which is just split it into its components. Here is a recalling point, that it should be noted that head-to-tail rule can be used to add any number of forces. The vector representing resultant force gives the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. So we can add a number of whatever the number of vectors or forces are there by simply using the rule of head to tail. Okay. Dear students, this completes today's discussion. In today's discussion, we discussed topics like and unlike parallel forces, addition of forces, and resolution of forces. Hopefully you understand. See you next time with other topics of this unit. So take care and keep studying. Goodbye.